So this is Lee Garbut, and here I am playing a game that is probably actually older than me, which is quite unusual, even for someone that does play a lot of retro games like I do. This is, of course, Bert and Bert Rebooted. This is a game that I haven't played in a very long time. So let's get started and reacquaint ourselves with Bert via the classic arcade Bert, just for a little bit before we go too crazy and start playing the rebooted mode, because Lord knows what they've done to make that into a modern style game. So Bert is pretty damn simple. You just have to jump onto cubes in an isometric layout and just turn them into different colours. It's quite weird because it's isometric. You have this kind of control scheme that's a bit diagonal, so it's a bit of an adjustment, especially if you're using an analog stick on the Xbox One, for example. You kind of got to make sure you get those diagonals right. Oh, and that's Bert swearing there, of course. I'm not very good at this game, I must admit. I vaguely remember getting pretty cheesed off with this game when I was young. I think I probably found it a little bit too hard for my younger self. But the gameplay here is pretty much simplistic as it gets for a single screen arcade game. Oh, half tempted to swear whenever Bert does. It's a pretty laid back game as it goes. I'm just going to play it for a little bit longer because you kind of get the idea already. That's the thing with a classic arcade game like this, it doesn't require too much in the way of explanation, just because it is so simple, almost repetitive at points, which kind of makes me interested in finding out what they've changed in the rebooted mode to even justify its existence. But I've just as a game over there. See, I'm not like particularly great. So now that I've reacquainted you, let's play the rebooted version and just see how this just changes, if at all. Okay, so we've got a map level and a select character mode. What's that? Okay, so there's always different versions of Bert that you can unlock, I guess. I'm not going to faff around with that right now. Let's just get into the game. Okay, so it's taking on the mobile gaming tradition of having 3 goals to do. So let's see if we achieve any of those. Okay, it's a little tutorial level, pretty simple. Lots of things flashing. Okay, you've actually got to press the A button to jump. Well, that kind of makes it a little bit easier, but I do wonder if that just makes it a bit more difficult to quickly get a movement when you're under fire from enemies. It's taken a bit of a while to get used to the control scheme, actually, simple as it is. But you seem to be able to jump through in stuff like hexagons rather than straight up squares this time around. So I guess they have changed something. Okay, don't get hit by a red ball. I mean, it's not too different from Bert, it's just maybe. Oh, he's just falling off there. Oh, that's a gem. What does that do? That gives me a point, I guess. What does a point do? Oh, it also seems a bit easier than Bert usually is. Just because it's a hexagon shape, so it kind of gives you more room to manoeuvre. That ball just seems to be falling down. Collect gems. Oh, yeah, the gems unlock new characters. So you need quite a lot of gems, I think, to unlock those characters. I don't know if they actually do anything. Maybe, hopefully, they're more than just an aesthetic change. So those balls just fall down straight to the bottom. That's good to know. Whoop. Whoop. Almost. I mean, this is just the tutorial level, so I'm not expecting them to be particularly difficult. Okay, bonus level. Lots of gems. I do wonder if the focus on this rebooted game is just to get as many of those gems as possible. I do sometimes wonder what the purpose of a reboot like this is to such an old game that it's kind of almost been forgotten about. for many decades. Because it's not as if the old game isn't available in one place or another. It was never a game that was particularly engaging. As I say, like, it's, even by arcade standards, it's very repetitive. And no matter how you kind of add bells and whistles to the gameplay, make things into hexagons instead of squares, it's still the same level after level. But even saying that, I don't think I'm actually putting this down quite yet. I'm still playing it. Strangely compelled to keep playing just in case something different happens. Maybe if I go to another world, things start changing and they give me different shapes of blocks to jump up and down and under. But this just seems to be the exact same layout as before, which is quite frustrating. I'm still compelled to pick up those gems because I want to see what some of those weird costumes do. See if they actually do anything, or if they're just pretty. So let's select character, see what we've got. So there's quite steep prices here. I mean, it's 250 for a weird bot thing. Can I afford any of these things? Oh, I can get Zombirds. Okay, let's go for the zombie. It remains to see whether there's any point to these characters. I guess we will find out. I seem to be leaking some sort of acid, piss, or farting. It's hard to tell. You think they make the graphics just a little bit better, a bit more interesting than just a kind of cartoony thing. Again, I'm just kind of doing the same thing over and over again here, which I guess you could argue most video games do at some point or another. Video games do carry this nature of repetition, but no, this just seems like I really am doing the same thing over and over again with very little reward. So it is always weird when you see someone try and bring a game back that's this old. I remember a few years ago when someone brought back Burger Time Deluxe, and it just, I don't know, it kind of seemed a bit needless. I guess it's that fine balance of making a kind of game on par with modern standards, but still keeping it true to what the classic was. But the problem is when the classic in question is so simplistic. It's like, what do you really do to make it more interesting? What do you do to bring it up to those modern standards without completely changing everything? And these stupid glasses things are annoying me, but they don't seem to give you too much trouble. I'm still finishing all these tasks. Am I getting anything for doing these bonus star tasks? I don't think so. What are these silver things for? Any better? Or 6? Even better than the gold ones. This is not the kind of game that I can imagine anyone playing for a massive stretch of time. So it's not even been 20 minutes, and this is my first proper game over, and I'm already feeling a bit bored. But it doesn't seem to be any penalty for losing all your lives. You just start again. It still saves your progress. So it sort of kind of feels like, well, what's the point of giving me all these lives? 5 lives is quite generous to finish a set of boards. It's nice having these new costumes, but it's kind of like, well, what's the point? Why do I have a zombie Q-Bert? Does it do anything? No? Okay. So being a pumpkin, much like being a zombie, doesn't really do anything in particular. It's not really adding any new things soon enough. I feel like there might be some more mechanics in play, but I don't know, just several levels of this. I mean, I'm playing the same board I've been playing for ages now. Nothing's changing. It's pointless. It's futile. Sort of kind of coasting by all these levels at the moment, and I'm not sure why I'm still playing this. It's just very dull. There's got to be some Q-Bert fans out there somewhere, right? There must have been someone that said, you know what, we want Q-Bert back. He needs a new game. can't think why, but there must be someone somewhere. Okay, so now we've got some sort of weird change to the mechanics where you've now got to jump on the platforms twice to get the right colour, so they've all got to be green. You're just kind of going over the whole map twice, which makes your levels twice as long, which seems like a bit of a stupidly boring and tedious mechanic to me, but what do I know? Sort of feels like there needs to be more to this game. Even like some sort of two-player mode would seem yeah, more beneficial than just this straight-up two-player, single-player mode that doesn't really go anywhere. Because at the end of the day, you know, even though it's adding certain little things, it's still Cuba. It's still adding very little to what's going on. Maybe they could have tried to do something a bit different. Maybe, you know, added some sort of boss or something. You know, try and be a bit clever with the mechanics, but it's really just nothing going on in this game. I'm quite glad that I don't have to review this game, because I could not imagine spending a lot of time playing this game just to see if anything's different. I'm sort of losing my will to live playing this at this point, and it's only been 20 minutes, and God knows how many levels there are. It just seems like some sort of abstract torture, but I'm still playing somehow. You know what, I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to play this game anymore. It's very boring. It was fun for a couple of levels, but there's just nothing going on. It's so repetitive. It's just bleh. You know, it's not terrible, it's not awful, it's just boring. And I think when a game's boring, that's the worst thing a game could possibly be, is that dull that you just really just don't want to play anymore. That's a pretty big sin in terms of video games. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go and play something a bit more enjoyable. Yeah, so by all means, please subscribe to the God is a Geek YouTube channel. We play more interesting games on here, I promise. And also you can contribute to our Patreon on patreon.com/godisageek, where we're doing far more interesting stuff, and you can help fund us and make far more interesting videos than this. But I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you guys around.
Should have backed the God is a Geek Patreon.